Hello, hello, hello. I am certainly going to have to redo that, aren't I? Not one of the characters looks like the picture that we just ran for you at the start of this, although the dramatic music is still apropos, perhaps more than anywhere tonight apropos. But first, this is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these wonderful people have agreed to come and play a game with me this evening. And I appreciate it every Sunday because I never know what's going to happen. Then neither do they. And at the end of it, we all go, wow, that was amazing. So let's do that again. But first, we are using our virtual tabletop of choice for this game because it's where I bought the module, is Roll20. And all the art you see in the game around us is from that module. We cut holes in it and made an overlay out of it. The maps and whatnot are from the actual handouts in the game. That's enough of that. The people playing the name-changing, face-changing, body-changing, attitude-changing... I think the only thing that hasn't changed is the friggin' voice. Scarred Adventurer playing Zulthus for us. Although you have several of them. It's got several, but it's the same several it started with. Thank you for bringing Zulthus with us. Tell us about your website.
I run a small website called thescarredadventurer.com, which I should probably put the link up to, because that's a smart thing to do. But
I'll put it up after. Talk to me about it first. What's on there?
It is a very lovely place full of creative people of all walks of life doing creative things of all sorts. Mostly it's writing at the moment. There's some artwork, and I'm just thrilled to have people on there whenever we have them on there. There's another big thing that's going on that I can't talk too much about, and I'm going to let other people talk more about how we're not allowed to talk about it.
That's why I specifically asked you about your website. Next in line, playing the rapidly hair-losing, rapidly wisdom-gaining, I don't care what it says on your sheet, weapon-changing father figure. I'll say it. Nobody else will. I will. For this party, Bickford, the aged bugbear, brought to us a character that started as a joke, brought to us by Bison Stonefist, a player who was offered to me originally as a joke. No, sorry, that was a joke. That was
coming from Roosbar. I wouldn't.
There you go. There. That's how we save this. We throw a complete person who has no chance to defend themselves under this bus. But yes, thank you for joining us. And you were streaming the other night.
I was. I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 because it's awesome. I don't care what people say. I play Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, give or take. And this Tuesday, I'm going to try and get me an iguana.
Excellent.
The new patch came out, and you can get an iguana. So I have to try and figure out how to do that. I watched a video on it last night, and that's what I'm gonna try and do Tuesday.
Sounds like the name of the new 4x4 by Ford. The iguana. Anyway, I hope that's what it is. That would be very funny. You're looking for a pet, and you get a truck that gets really bad mileage. Next. They started as a person. And then they were a wolf, and then they were a person, and then they were a wolf. But people had seen that before, so we changed it. And now they kind of went both ways at the same time and turned into a permolf. I'm not sure what we call this. But we're playing with another bit of the not official materials, shall we say. But thank you very much for bringing Beowulf, the most complicated werewolf I've ever met in all my days, to our game, Solar Dasher. I'll ask again, ever hopefully, did you get a chance to stream this week?
No. Yesterday was just kind of one of those days.
Yep.
Where I was just like tired, arguing, cleaning, just a big old mess. I might do something soon-ish, I hope. We'll see about that, but you can find me on my little channel there
There we go.
or in our Discord.
Well, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people had a bad, kind of weird, at least last couple of days. We're going to have spent a couple hours forgetting about all of that and playing a silly game and hopefully having some fun and some laughs. But we have one more person, and I forgot to introduce them once, way many, many long times ago. And you can hide there behind your little frid, and with your big hood on, and I will remember you now because the shame still burns. Sarah, tell us about Tangor Productions and Company.
Yeah, we're honestly our biggest project right now I can't talk about. Because everything else has kind of had to go by the wayside.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So yeah.
Oh,
But I'm also a writer over at the Discard Adventure blog, so you can read my
go
stuff.
find stuff there. Yes,
Over
there's
there.
tons there. Absolutely, lots to catch up on. Well, thank you all for joining me. Let's get into this. This is going to be interesting. In fact, this is one of those camera shot moments where we're just behind the four of you standing on the lip of this valley. You've come just down far enough to be out of the blowing icy wind so you can actually see what's ahead of you. It is a lush pine forested valley. Anybody who's ever been near the west coast, northwest coast for our American friends, it's that, a deep, wide valley covered in pine trees that winds its way away from you. A very wide but white water turbulent river is at the bottom. Clearly it carved it over the millennia. And then from each side you can see little rivulets have done the same thing on a smaller scale, resulting in creeks joining on and the river getting bigger and bigger as it goes away from you down the valley. There's a tremendous amount, even with that thick canopy, there's a tremendous amount of life that's visible and audible. You can hear wolves and coyotes and other things that make noises on the ground. You can hear the birds. You can hear that constant rustle of insects. You can see the birds that are flying, some of them just above. It's not a canopy with pine forest because it's all pokey trees. They're flying just above the height of the tallest trees, and every once in a while you see them drop down in between when hunting. You can smell that pine forest. A little slightly acidic smell, very green. Gets right up your nose, almost makes you sneeze. You can see in the distance, when your eyes adjust to the darkness of the trees, at least 2 herds of deer. Big herds, 30, 40 animals. Everything is beautiful, idyllic, and owned by the red dragon whose boat you just lost, whose elementals you just freed with his boat, and whose boat you left 4 highly important magical giant artifacts on, floating down, so to speak, a public river with no supervision whatsoever. But this valley is the only way you're going to get to the trail to get you to Hundlestone, which is the village I believe you said you were headed towards. If you try and stay out on the ice, you will starve in 2 days. You were out there long enough to know there's nothing out there to eat. Not a seal, not a penguin, nothing. So, with the drone hovering slightly behind you and slightly above so that you're lit well against the dark green background valley, let's go around the table and see what you're thinking at this moment. The one I want to know. I think I know what some of you are going to say, but Zulthus, I have no clue.
Let's go get some food.
There we go. That's a great start. Let's go get some food. Zulthus in a nutshell. Idicus.
Zulthus is heading down to the forest, just setting a very quick pot up,
Yeah.
and just letting people know you can start this whenever. Walks over into the woods.
Idicus. Zulthus seems nonplussed.
As long as no one else is really paying attention to me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go try and find some shiny.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Beowulf. In your relatively new form, you can smell. Oh, God, can you smell? There's deer over there. There's deer to the left of you and deer to the right of you. You're stuck in the middle with venison again.
Zulthus to the right of you, Bigford to the right. Here you are,
Stuck in the middle
stuck
with
in the middle
venison
with
again.
everyone.
You alone, without having to do a check, can also smell higher up on the mountains, not down in the valley here, but up where it starts to get snowy and cold again. You can smell elk as well. Bigger, badder deer for people that don't know. You also smell a number of predatory dogs, at least wolves, etc. Lots of coyotes and stuff. You also smell some predatory cats. But over it all, there is a smell a bit like sulfur. That's what
Yeah.
dragons smell like.
Once he gets that one little whiff of sulfur, his nose, his face is gonna kind of sour and say, "I hope that isn't what I think it is."
It is.
But then
You know it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he knows. He's just going to try and not worry the others, at least at this point. Let
Mhm.
them figure it out on their own. Because
Yeah.
he is hungry. He's just gonna tear once he's done smelling and sniffing around.
Yep.
He's gonna tear down the side of the hill there and just look for the first prey he can find, whether it be a bunny,
Yep.
a
So
whatever.
cooking, hunting, and looting. Gotcha. Bigford, what are you doing? I had
Bigford's
kind of
actually
expected long emotional speeches and explanations of your mental state, but it's just like, beat me, fucking beat
Here
me.
we go.
These people are hungry. It's time that they eat.
Well,
Bigford.
honestly, Bickford's got a bad feeling. He doesn't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of that he's worked for enough bad guys to know that this ain't normal.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to find the darkest spot that he can, like the most shadow, the deepest part of the forest that he can really find while still being relatively close to everybody else.
Yep.
And he's going to pray.
Okay. So we split the farty. We split the party in 4 directions. It's hard to split a farty.
It's very dangerous.
What are you
So
kidding?
we head into a valley of death, and immediately they split into four different directions. Zulthus, you were going to cook, yes?
I've put the pot out, so I've got
Yep.
so I'm ready to drag whatever I kill back with me.
Okay, I got you. So you're just set up, and then you also go a hunting. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. So hunting, looting, and sorry, Bickford.
He's going to try and commune with Groundcool and
Right,
find
praying.
something.
I forgot. I
Yeah.
completely forgot because never mind. So
Being
let's
the
do that
cleric
one
thing.
last. So yes, let's start with Zulthus. You get everything set up, your pot and your fire going and whatnot. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. You have skills.
Using the magical item that we got ages ago,
Yes,
Zulthus just points.
yes.
fire erupts.
So yes, pot with water on the fire, and away you go off hunting. But having already gone out, in fact, the sneakiest of the sneaky. First of all, because you're the first one to leave the area, give me a are you sneaking, Idicus, or are you just
Oh yeah,
okay? By nature, right? I almost assumed, but I'm gonna ask. So yes, give us a stealth. 24. Yeah, nobody sees you. Even you don't see you. You are looking for shinies. I would like you to make an investigation check, please.
Wow.
It's been too long since he's found a new shiny.
Yes,
Apparently.
Idicus. You're looking in the dirt, and it's just dirt. They don't put shiny in dirt, and if you do, you can't tell because it's got dirt on it, and it's not a shiny anymore. So you go find a little creek, and you're kind of walking along beside the creek, looking in, and you're seeing like they're kind of shiny, but you know from experience it's just because they're wet. Rocks kind of get shiny when they're wet, but then you see what other people would call a cut stone. I don't know what you would call like a diamond cut, but
Big
this,
shiny.
big shiny. Okay, big sharp shiny, because it comes to a point on one end and it's all edges and it's all the same. Like it's you don't know the word. It's symmetric. I tried to teach Idicus a word right there by going symmetric.
Know that in Goblin, but not in.
Yes, so
common.
it's right there in the water. It's a ruby about that tall and about that big around. It's massive. But
Pick
you
up bag
you
and keep.
pull it out
And
of the,
I'm gonna keep following and see if I can find more.
because you got a 27 investigation. You pluck it out of the water, and just before you put it in the bag, you get a sort of a feeling of a big. For a second, it's like a big scaly tail is starting to wrap around you. And by the time you kind of go, "Nip-nip-nip," it's gone. And you said, having said that, do you still keep looking for big shinies?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. You head forward. We're going to we're going to leave you there. We're just doing really tiny little segments here. Beowulf, you're just hell-bent for election, finding meat so you can eat, right? Give me a survival check with advantage because you're lupine. Look at us rolling dice. 2 weeks in a
Oh,
row.
hey, it always advantage anyway.
Yes, I believe you do. 20, yes.
Nice.
You burst into the forest and it's just your home, right? You're just flowing. You're moving like shadows through the trees. Nothing hears you coming. Nothing sees death flowing through the trees, the tree stalks. And it's easy to do in a pine forest because they're really acidic and there's no undergrowth essentially. There's a lot of duff on the ground from the needles, but there's no undergrowth. So it's just, which also means there's nowhere for any of it to hide. You've got your choice. Deer, antelope. The closest thing to you looks like the biggest rabbit you've ever seen.
Hmm.
You're like Pavlov's wolf. You're just
Right.
drooling. This is your own.
Looking all over the place.
Yep. What do you want to eat today? The smorgasbord is open.
He's going for the antelope.
Okay. So these are fairly small, long, pronghorned antelope. They kind of, well, I just stole them from the svelts or the velts of Africa. So they're like those. They're just little antelopes. You work your way towards one. Give us a, you know what? We'll still go with that 20 survival. It's easy. You just flow in downwind or upwind, so they can't smell you. Not that they'd ever smelled anything like you before, anyway. And bam! Give me an attack. A bite attack, I'm assuming, because you're trying to eat it. You do unarmed bite attacks, right? I should know, but I don't read my character sheets. I don't want to know what you
It
can do.
just
It's
says
way more fun
strike,
when you
but I'll
surprise
use
me.
it. I'll use it as an attack either way.
Yep. Yeah, give me an unarmed strike. Or whatever it is. Whatever you think works. 26.
Whoa.
That worked. Predatory strike. That's an excellent choice. 7 points of damage. It never saw you coming. There's not going to be any adrenaline in the meat because it was never got a chance to be scared. You just reach down as you go by and just snap the neck. Just And as you do that, and as you start to skid to a stop, you smell burning hair. And your antelope starts to swell in front of you, and smoke starts to come out of it. Bigford. Yes. You find a place to settle down to pray. Who is it you're praying to?
I'm praying to Groundcool because I think that the god of my tribe would be the best.
Okay.
Yeah. The god of bugbear sneakiness.
Yes. So you set up. What does a shrine to them look like? That you could set up in sort of 6 to 12 seconds, because it's only been about that long since they started.
Yeah.
Out of what you've got on hand, go.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's he sets the fetish down, the little statue that he's got.
Yep.
The Frid of Groundcool.
Yeah.
And then he
Wow.
arranges a bunch of sticks and stones in kind of a sort of fanning out, but also kind of making not really a fort, but it's sort of a little makeshift dais up against a tree.
I keep thinking of those birds in the forest that make those incredibly ornate walkways to do their mating dances on. I'm thinking like a simplified version of that. Is that like it's a presentation, right? I mean, you're going into a natural space and making this boom. And like I said, it's a pine forest floor, so nothing is in the way. You can do pretty much whatever you like.
Yeah. And
So
he
then,
finds-
what? Then do you sit? Do you lay down? How do you?
He kneels
Okay.
and just sort of like a sit kneel, not like a prone. And at the base of the little path of sticks, he cuts his palm a little bit and makes the symbol of the Darkwood tree, and then begins to, I guess, ask how to lead his flock through this dangerous place.
So when you finish bleeding the shape of the tree, the blood just gets absorbed. And for a little second, nothing happens, but then you kind of catch it out of all the corners of your eye at once. Little tiny fractions of it are coming back and forming the tree. And you realize that this god has been dispersed with your people. Every one of those little drops is that tiny part of your god that went with every single member of your tribe when they split, coming back together to speak to you. And once the tree is rebuilt, you're quiet for a moment, and you hear, "They're going to need more than you are."
They as in the tribe, or they as in these guys?
Both.
I'm just one bugbear. I don't even know what we're dealing with in this valley, but I know it's big and I know it's bad.
What is your ultimate goal with them?
I want to see this through. Get this ordning shit figured out. And at the same time, try to protect us.
That first one's a long-term goal. Well, for you. You haven't got long left. But that second one, how would you protect them?
he
do
doesn't
they
know.
what do they need? And a series of flashback images from your own head. For a second you think that the god is pulling them out, but it isn't. It's just you processing. And it's all the times that each one of these people, including you, almost died. And there was nothing you could do about it. The last one, it doesn't really matter who, it stops. And it's almost like a video game where you've got choices. And it says on one side, fight. And you see that if you do, you will defeat the enemy, but you will lose your friend. They will die. On the other side, it's just a question mark.
He just thinks, and he's like, hide, strike, retreat. That's kind of how bugbears learn to fight.
You're supposed to be more than a bugbear now. You're not going to save your tribe with hide, fight, retreat.
His
You
mind
need to
is
be able to
racing.
fix what's wrong.
We need the boat back.
That's part of it. But how do you benefit these friends, non-believers in me?
He says that he kind of laughs, like, non-believers, but the kid's better at being one of yours than I am.
Luckily, we're not here judging you. When you see them dying, what is it you wish you could do?
He knows. He wishes he could heal them. He wishes he could do something. These hands have always been the bugbear.
Like no bugbear before you. You hold up your hands and they start to glow. What color? What is your new multi-class color for your magic?
Dark green, like foliage.
Yep, like the forest. Thank you. You've picked home. Yes. Your hands glow in that color. Do you have any damage right now?
No.
Okay. In that case, this is the perfect time to do this. At that moment, you hear behind you. You snap out of your haze, breaking one of the sticks in the process, therefore snapping the spell the rest of the way. Almost like a dream, you look down, but your hands are still glowing green. You look over your shoulder, and there's a smoldering, smoking tree in the distance that's tipped off and burning slightly, and behind it you smell burnt fur. Further off in the distance you hear giggling, and even further off in the distance you hear something dying horribly. This has a feed. I'm giving you a feed. I'm sorry, I know we didn't play this out, but I'm giving you a feed before you come back if you need one.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, wait. I take that back. You are just about to feed when you hear the explosion behind you and it startles off whatever it is you were about to eat. That works better.
Oh yeah.
Bickford swears and Goblin grabs the fetish, puts it in his pack, and chases
You
off
head
towards
over.
the sound of the explosion.
Okay. Let's start at the distance. Zulthus, what are you doing?
You scared off my food.
Turn around and start coming back.
And also then realizing, wait, explosion, family, shit.
Yeah, and then now you're double timing it back. Perfect. Idicus, you see another. Oh, there's another one. It's exactly the same as the first one. Big, red, shiny, sitting in the water just like the last one. Boom! Behind you. What do you do? Big, shiny. Maybe even bigger than the other one. It's hard to tell. The water makes it kind of wobbly.
I'll pick it up really quickly,
Yeah.
and then I'll turn right around and
Yep.
head back to the
You
explosion.
grab it, spin it around, drop it in your bag, and bolt back with two. I knew you would. Just had to check. So the three of you, the one I haven't mentioned, Beowulf, we'll get to you in a second. The three of you run towards the explosion at varying speeds and with varying degrees of concern. At the explosion, Beowulf, you've had a heartburn before, but you've never had food explode in your mouth before. It's a smallish fireball goes off at the moment you sink your teeth in to eat this antelope. And you take 25 points of fire damage as this antelope explodes in your face.
25?
25. Slams you against a tree, cracks that tree, and the last thing you before you blink out for a second is you look up and the tree is on fire. You kind of drop to the ground. You're not unconscious, but you're sort of dazed and your vision's doing that tunnel vision thing where you can't see much. The three of you run in on that. Beowulf has got like big chunks of ash all over them. There's chunks of their furs burned off, their jackets partially burned away. Blistered skin here and there showing through.
Zulthus weirdly immediately takes control
Mhm.
to water. Yes.
Zulthus, you are still injured as well, right?
No.
No? Okay. And Idicus? Any damage?
No.
No? Okay.
Bigfoot ignores Zulthus. He just doesn't even hear him
Yeah.
and just chases down, like just runs towards
Yep.
Beowulf immediately. You see his hands start to glow. And he's like, I got you, buddy. Don't worry. And he casts Cure Wounds at level 3.
Level 3. Okay. So,
That should have cast, but
yeah, we'll do that. Not a worry. I think you just click on where it says spell save DC, but never mind. You reach in and lay hands, because it is a touch spell, lay hands on the burnt Beowulf, still kind of shocked on the ground. This green light pulses out of your hands and over and through them. There's a feeling of power. I love that you cast it at level 3. I'm going to take a tiny bit of narrative intent here. You didn't really sort of think about how strong you were going to... It's the first time you've ever cast this, right? You didn't really think about how strong it was going to be, and it just came out boom. Because that's the highest level you can cast at, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it just... this power. Not only does it heal 17 points back to Beowulf, Zulthus, you're like, get me the Oh. You see this green healing light from someone you've never seen heal before.
Well, I feel a little unnecessary.
To Zulthus, Idicus will ask, "What's that?"
That is something. It's not as strong as the older magics, but it's a newer version of what we used to do of a healing spell.
What spell?
Bigford pointing, has cast a spell. I don't know the actual name for it. The name that we use for it is Gazinkagatur. And that doesn't seem like Gazinkagatur. So I don't know.
Okay.
And it's not the same. It's It seems to be powered by divinity, not by the self.
Perfect time to cut back. Bigford, you see at that moment of the casting of the spell, the moment that the god acts through you, because that's how clerics work. You don't actually cast the spell. You ask the god to cast it through you, and that's what happens. So for the first time, you feel a god occupy you, and use your physical form to go through the motions and lay these hands that are kind of yours but not really. It's almost like that watching from the ceiling out-of-body experience thing. But you see the magic happen, even though it's kind of weird because it's inside and outside at the same time. You also see, in that same moment, one of those little drops that came back to form the tree stays. And the rest of the tree, the drops go back like they did before, but one stays. The act of casting this spell and accepting this gift is a mission to save them all. Every time you heal someone, you reconnect one of the members of your tribe to their god. Right now, your god is too spread out, too shattered to have any real positive effect. That's going to be the case for a long time. That's why they need you, once this is over, to go home and heal everything. But for now, you have to learn. You feel the god start to withdraw from you at the end of the casting.
Bigford drops to his knees and it's like kind of panting, just like, whoa, what the shit? Like he's just coming down from just coming down.
Like a camp revival meeting that worked.
Yeah, he never had anything like that. He's used to the cold, reassuring shadow. He's not used to the power of a full-on god coursing through his veins.
That's clerics, man. I'm so glad when you said I want to multi-class into cleric, because you are a vessel for a god. It's way creepier than warlock. Way creepier.
What? Scarred's like, huh? Ears perk up.
I've made my warlock weird.
I mean, it says right.
Also, I made him, and it's one of those things. He also had to exchange sexual favors, but they stopped after they realized the genitals weren't exactly the same humanoid gen.
Oh yes, it was a fae thing.
Oh my word.
Yes.
Moving on.
So.
He didn't have testicles. He had acorns.
All of you see this healing action. Healing almost, but not all, of the burn damage from Beowulf. Around Beowulf's mouth, you see a couple little bits of flesh, or more like skin, from the antelope that they tried to eat. And one of the horns is stuck in a tree nearby. Other than that, there's not much left. Beowulf, you kind of, with the healing.
Yeah, he just kind of. I'm assuming like he got thrown against the tree and just kind of flattened down onto the ground.
Yep.
He's gonna slowly like pick himself up, just like get some suit out of his lungs a little bit, because obviously the healing wasn't 100% complete.
Nope.
Let's face it.
Nope.
Can't heal.
Still 8 more points of damage. Yeah, you're still got burn marks.
He just like shakes his head and then looks at Bigford and like, what did I miss? When did I get to Disneyland? or that line with the big mouse ears.
Your face blew up, buddy.
Bigford, do you mind if I sort of
just
a little last bits of touch up?
Yeah,
and Zulthus opens his bag and already he's got burn salves and stuff like that.
Yep.
He's applying.
So now the medicine man arrives. First we had the cleric, and now the medicine man. I love it. You split the damage. So that's a medicine check, right?
It will be a medicine check. Because if it's not a medicine check, then what the hell is
Then
it?
what's that skill for? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 28.
Oh, wow.
28, perfect. You put the salves on and the dressings, and you can tell as you put them on, it's almost like you're willing them to work harder than they normally would. And maybe for a split second you kind of think to yourself, maybe there's some magic to what I do. Don't be silly after all.
But the brain is going, am I getting back what I had?
Yes.
No, don't have that yet.
Yes, isn't that somebody else that does? No, shut up. Yeah, all those little conversations. But in the process, as you step back, you realize you could almost take the bandaging off now. It's that well healed. The Beowulf, you get all 8 points back.
Keep that on for at least 12 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, there's no blood soaking through. You see as Beowulf sort of turns to look at it, they move their arm in a way that means that it's already healed inside. Right? They couldn't rotate their arm like that with the damage to burn that was there before. So you kind of have a little moment there too.
Didn't like that.
Oedicus. They're all fussing over the big burned wolf.
Who's no longer burned.
This is why you trust yourself. I didn't know I was going to say that. Just open your mouth and let it fall out. Oedicus. That you got 2 of those red stones in your bag. Those beautiful, beautiful shinies. You feel something like, well, I'll make it simple. You feel something move in that bag. Where there should just be those 2 stones. And like your change and stuff. And maybe another pretty rock.
I'll open it up and look,
You-
making sure to turn away from the group.
Yeah, so you kind of turn away and open the bag and have a look in. One of the stones winks at you, basically. An eyeball appears on the stone, looks at you, and then disappears. Give me a wisdom save, please.
Oh no,
Oh dear.
I'm not good at wisdom.
Apparently you are.
20.
Yeah, your die is stuck on 20. I'm so give that a shake next time. No,
How
that
many
I
naturals
love it. No,
today?
this works. This works perfectly. It blinked, like it just sort of appears and then disappears. You're a goblin. You know, yeah, Criticus strikes again. No shit, twice. To completely change the story. You know what that eye is. That's a dragon eye. And maybe it's because the stone was red, or maybe it's because the dragon's red. Hey, there was a red dragon, kind of something with the boat. I don't know. Look, shiny thing. It's red. Eye blinked at me. Maybe it's a red dragon. But that dragon, whatever it is, just saw you as plain as day.
How far is the river from us?
About throwing distance, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I am checking them both out of my bag.
Now, there is a piece of completely out of context character art that somebody needs to do. Criticus, after making the most brilliant decision of their already brilliant decision-laden lives, throwing 2 priceless rubies into the river with no explanation, just for fun. Give me 2 ranged attacks. Not that I'm worried about you hitting the river. I want to see the damage for both of them.
Okay, so how do I do that?
Do you have daggers? Oh no, you have the bow. You just give me
Yeah,
2
my
bow
bow.
attacks. That doesn't matter. Like I said, I just want damage. I don't want anything else.
8 and 10.
8 and 10, yeah. You just twice in the air. They're both in the air at the same time. The first one hits, and it hits in the water, but this water is really shallow. It's just a creek, like I said. And it goes about that far into the water, hits a rock, and it shatters. And you hear... But it doesn't come from here. It comes from way down the valley. A split second later, the other one comes in, shatters again, just on the far side of the creek. 1,000 little fragments, and you hear from way down the valley.
I'd imagine if he was still looking through the crystals when Iticus yeeted them.
Yeah, you just
He's
watch
like,
Iticus
"Oh."
go, just get tiny, and then
Super
shatter
dizzy.
into 1,000 pieces as you blew up both of his eyes.
Are we being incredibly concerned about this?
Right now only Iticus knows. But
great.
Iticus.
As long as
Did you
only
hear the
Iticus can
noises?
hear the. That's what I
Yeah, I was
meant.
about to say.
Well, no, you'll
You
all
said
hear
the
the
noises
woof,
came
woof,
from-
but none of you would have seen the stones thrown.
No,
Oh, no,
that's
no,
what
we
we're
would've
going
heard
on
that.
about. Is
Yes.
that what we should be concerned about?
Yes. So just before that happens, I want to ask Iticus something before, because you're all going to hear that. But Iticus, the first one explodes, and you hear the noise. The second one explodes, you hear the noise. Do you draw what conclusion, if any, does Iticus draw from that?
There's only one word that came to Iticus's mind, and it was shit.
You in that case you read things correctly. You either slightly or more than slightly, temporarily or more than temporarily, have blinded a large red dragon somewhere down at the end of this valley. So add that to the list of things that you're going to have to discuss.
Will it ever be discussed?
With that, the other three of you and Iticus all hear a roar, a brief pause, and another roar from down at the end of the valley. You are persons of the world, enough to know that that's a dragon. That's a big dragon. You all know the name of this valley, and you all know the risks involved in trafficking. No, you're not thinking anybody doesn't want to go, but you're traveling down this valley. Oops, cackles quietly. That is the story of my life. Say something and then go, I'll just go with it. No, that turned out all right. The four of you hear the dragon roar in rage. The three of you turn and see Iticus standing there, looking innocent.
Innocent, but also terrified.
Okay, so let's see how well the innocent work. Give us a deception check. And the other three of you, I'm going to give you insight checks.
Oh, fuck.
21,
Nat 20.
a third. Nope. Bigfoot
Insight,
does not
right?
make the connection. Beowulf does not make
Oh.
the connection.
Well, Wolf is too
Zulfis.
busy trying to get the suit out of his lungs.
Normally I would go D. Yeah. Normally I would go tie goes to the runner, but it's funnier if that really is a tie. And Zulfis, you see something other. There's just a fraction. Maybe it's because you've never actually seen it there before. I don't know if there's ever actually been there before, but for a split second there's something vaguely like guilt in Iticus's eye. Just the one, because the other one is still just basically a big green marble.
If everyone is looking the other direction,
Yes.
Zulfis will catch eyes with Iticus once more. Just like it's not a good job. It's a
Yeah.
don't tell anyone this is your fault.
That's a
So-
departure.
So
This
the
is
four of you-
Zulfis, not creature.
Yes. The
True,
four of you
true.
come back together at the site of the exploded food. Beowulf, you remember at the moment of biting that the antelope exploded in a ball of fire.
Beowulf, what the shit happened?
I learned that antelope is dangerous and you shouldn't bite into it. It blew up and ouch.
So what I'm hearing is that the food here isn't edible.
Yeah, we should get moving.
Yeah, I think we should. We need to get out of here as quick as we can. Especially if that roar is who I think it is. And I don't want to deal with dragons. Especially not
dragons?
this one. Yeah,
It
dragons.
is a dragon.
Bigford never learned the dragon's name. He only was talking to the ship and he was high on drugs at the time. So
It's okay. Yeah.
he knows that there's something bad.
Yeah.
He just now figured out that it's a dragon.
Mhm.
The dragon hasn't bothered introducing itself to Zulthus or creature, so Zulthus doesn't know who the hell this is.
That's
Or
right.
Iticus.
Only some of I think Corfell and
Creature?
was it just? I think it might have. Oh yeah, it was Corfell
Well,
and
I think
creature, right?
something
But not
spoke to
Zulthus.
Beowulf, but
Yes. Yeah, then as far as names, only you're right. Only creature who is kind of gone, and Corfell, who is not here at the moment, knew the actual name. So yeah, dragon down into the valley. Back to Bickford.
Wait, dragon?
Thank you.
yeah,
Zulthus going through all the dragons he knows, going, those ones are probably dead by now. What was the name of the dragon?
I don't know. But I smelled it before we even got down into the valley, so
So it's a stinky dragon.
I mean, they all
Sulfury.
stink. They're just.
Yeah, I used to work for a green.
this one isn't a green. In fact, I know I'm gonna play some
So
Dungeons
sulfur.
and Dragons.
In Goblin, Iticus would say red. Not realizing that he's kind of giving himself away.
Actually, Beowulf would be able to distinguish that smell. And
Oh yeah,
yes,
that's why I said it's
that's why
a
I rolled the
sulfur
history
smell.
check.
It's fire. Yeah.
Yeah, the sulfur smell fire, most likely leading to it being a red dragon. So Beowulf is gonna look at Iticus, just give him a what the hell look,
Yeah. How do you?
and turn back to the others and say, "This is a red dragon's valley. We need to be careful." Sounds like he's mad, upset. I don't know, but I think we should just try and get the hell out of here as quick as we can.
How old is this ancient dragon?
Shouldn't?
Who said it was ancient?
Yeah.
That's it. But Zulthus is also ancient. I want to know which one's older. That's the only thing.
No, you're. Yeah.
Because I predate.
You
I
were
predate
here.
the
We've already.
Allfather.
Well, in game you predate the Allfather. So, I have a way out though. You have a vague memory of this, but it's only vague because you've been shattered so many times and put back together.
He's not trying to remember if it's
Yeah.
the right thing. I'm just, as a player, I want to know if Zulthus is technically older.
Tough question. Ancient
Okay.
red dragon can be bazillions, and I hadn't thought about it. So
I'm just going to say that
either way,
I'd like to pretend that Zulthus, just for me as the player, Zulthus knew the dragon as a baby. Cool baby, and then
From
left it
time
alone, and there's nothing
immemorial,
else from
yeah.
anything else. And neither of them remember it. It's just
yes, but from time immemorial is the phrase that comes to mind. But
Yeah.
with that, the last thing I heard was we need to move, or something of that nature, right?
I feel it's time for us to get out of here. I don't want to run into this dragon if we can help it. Fire!
Fire bad.
For a fact, really, 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 really hurts. So I don't want to be hurt no more.
Yeah, I have set a pot on fire a little while ago. If I don't put it out, it will burn this entire valley down. So I say
Well,
we go.
The water
Let's-
is boiling briskly behind you.
Let's go ahead and put that out and get out of
No,
here.
I'm saying we leave it, and then we go anyways.
That's a terrible idea.
I don't want to burn the forest down and make this dragon any angrier than it already is.
Yeah.
Fine.
Iticus, yeah.
Zulthus will walk over to the pot, just pick it up and just flip it upside down,
Yep.
pouring boiling water onto this water.
Yep. Onto the fire. Absolutely.
Just
Huge
throws it
steamy
to the
hiss.
side. When I try to help out with things and just make food for everyone, and then this asshole interrupts everything. And he's just
Oh, man,
grumbling
let's
as
go.
he's walking forward and keeping pace with everyone.
So, where are we going? Back up onto the ice, where we will definitely die.
West.
Further down the valley, where you might die, and there's an angry dragon. Or somewhere else entirely.
Can anyone teleport? I could once, but that's
30
a
feet at a time.
long story.
I have
So
no
the
magic.
answer to that is no. Cool.
Idicus, you were going to say something?
I sneaky.
Not helpful in this situation.
Well, it is for Idicus.
Let's just head out that way. If we run into him, we run into him.
Mostly
if we
dead
don't,
is
well,
slightly
you know.
lied. And you got a cleric now who's already blown one of their 2 top-level spell slots today. But it was
Blew
a
his
good
damn
role
face
play.
off. Come on, I gotta do something about it.
That was great. I like role-playing level ups, and that was a perfect, especially because it was a multi-class moment. That was a perfect opportunity to do that. So thank you for doing that with me. That was fun, and now we made sense out of why you're now multi-classing. So, further into the valley. A quick look at the map shows that we are looking at something like in a straight line.
I can only see the world map.
Yeah, you should under the little red dot where at the Clathorn Vale.
Oh, there we go.
So you are in a straight line 88 miles from Hundlestone. With the wibbly wobblies in the valley, it's probably 120 miles, which is, even traveling on good roads, is 6 days. And while this is better than the ice, it's still not good roads. It's probably going to take you 10 days to get where you're going down this valley. But at least it's warm. You're not going to freeze to death.
There's exploding food.
Well, there is at least one exploding antelope.
We'll try some things out.
Yeah, I was just chat's been
Worst
trying to
comes
get you
to
guys.
worst,
It's like,
there's some
do this, try this.
Worst comes to worst, there's some roots that people can eat, and it's a weird life energy thing, not a blood thing, so I can just eat this tree.
I'm just seeing Zulithus just like latched onto a tree, just bangs.
Oh no, it's just he jumps up very high, and then a swirl of kind of black mass just shaves the tree down to nothing.
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Like one of those.
Yeah,
Oh, I was thinking like one of those tree mulchers.
Yeah, that's a Tasmanian devil, except they leave tunnels through them, and then the trees collapse afterwards, and with comedy timing. Impeccable comedy timing, one might even say. Anyway, you head down further into this valley. Just before you leave this immediate area, Zulthis, give me a perception check, please.
If I do really badly, can I use my passive perception?
Yes. In fact, your passive
Excellent.
perception is ludicrous, isn't it?
It's 18.
18. Okay, well, roll to see if you beat an 18.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. No, you certainly didn't friggin' beat an 18. But you're not paying attention, but accidentally your eyes drift across where your fire just was. You poured a whole pot of water on it. It was absolutely, positively, definitely out. But now it's burning fiercely again. There's no pot on it, no tripod, nothing going, but the fire that you built is burning fiercely again as you start to leave.
So, Beowulf, I'm assuming your form gives you a little extra oomph to carry things. Can you give either Idicus or Bigford a piggyback, and I'll do the vice versa, and then we just take off?
Sounds like a plan.
And he says this, trying to frame himself so no one can see the fire behind him.
Okay, that's a deception check and some insight checks. Why not? Let's play some D&D.
Insight for me, right?
Yes.
Whoa!
Beowulf, I'm going to give you Zulthis is full of shit, but you knew that already. But you do not see the fire behind him.
He could probably smell it.
Well, you could, and I was going to say, Beowulf, you get a sudden strong smell of sulfur in your nose. But neither one of you can. I'll say you deduce the fire from the smoke coming out from behind him, Bickford. I'll give you that. You can't see it, but you can deduce that it's probably on again. Beowulf, you can smell it, but neither one of you
I
can
don't think
see.
Bickford got it at all with that fucking nat 20 from Zulithus. Idicus, probably between the knees.
Idicus
yeah.
is 17. Yeah. Either way, yeah, all of you now perceive that this fire is not natural. In fact, these little red spots are starting to appear in it, little red beads.
So we should really be running.
So there was a plan. Who's carrying who? Are they allowing themselves to be carried?
I can carry Idicus.
Edicus, are you willing to be carried?
I've done that before.
Willing to ride your new wolf friend who now stands up?
No.
No. Perfect. What is Edicus doing then? Beowulf, are you running? Edicus is just like, no.
Edicus will be like, if you can, will just kind of stealth out
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and
Yep.
just disappear.
Yep. So yeah, so we're gonna figure
Why
out what
do
everybody's
that?
gonna do here, and then so you disappear.
We need to run together.
Beowulf. Well, you can still move when you're stealthed. At least you can in my campaign. Beowulf, you look to Edicus like you wanna, and he's gone. What do you do? The slippery toddler. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You find him in the
Right,
ball
right,
pit at
right.
Walmart. It's not really a ball pit. It's just a pit where they keep all the balls.
You just hear cursing and infernal looking. He's gonna look at Zolfus and Bickford and say, "You guys, that sneaky little dude is sneaky. Edicus has disappeared. Let's just get the hell out of here. Hopefully
He
he'll find us.
moves slower than everyone else.
I don't know where he went."
Bickford, they're arguing. Edicus is gone. What do you do?
I'm just gonna hoof it. I
Edicus,
know
give me that
Edicus
stealth check.
fine.
Okay, Bickford's gonna run. Okay.
This is. I will make a perception check, not a passive perception thing, for
Yep.
seeing if I can find Edicus.
Yeah, that requires active.
25.
Edicus, give us a stealth.
29.
29. Gone. Beowulf sees nothing.
Yeah.
So yes, Beowulf, you quickly look around. Nope. Booking it, right? The bugbear instinct kicks in, time to retreat. You flee. Edicus, you're in shadows, you're moving behind stumps. You see Bickford just thunderbombing it down the middle of the trail. And behind you, you hear like two time distorted turkeys having an argument. And you are flittering into the woodlands. Behind you, there's a sounds like popcorn as the fire starts to go off, like popcorn. Each one of these little red beads bursts out and heads towards the party, almost in a group, but one at a time. Just pop, 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 pop.
Zulthus is going to move slower than he usually does, so he can keep at the same pace Edicus would be keeping.
Okay, you have no idea where they are, but you can certainly
No,
move at the
I'm
same
just-
speed they would. Yeah.
And just very in a huff and consistently complaining the entire time. Little warforged bastard, always running off, never listening to plans. No, I don't want to be carried because I think I can stealth away from the magic things that can clearly see everything.
So Zulthus and Beowulf are getting 4 each because you were the closest. They're just straight D20 rolls against your AC. So let's do Zulthus first as your.
Are they evasion? Are they something I can use evasion for, or no?
Once we'll see if any of them hit you first. Oh, just a 20.
Yeah.
So your evasion does half damage.
Evasion would do half damage on a unsuccessful dexterity saving throw.
This isn't a save though. This is a straight up attack. So
Yeah, then I'm
AC 20 hits. You take 2 points of damage. So it's just as you're running along, bitching and moaning, it's like, ooh.
Zulthus takes off his vest, which is now ruined, and just throws it on the ground.
Yeah,
and then continues walking
perfectly white clothes.
because
Yep.
he's not running
Yep,
to keep pace with everyone. He just needs to walk.
absolutely. Bickford,
See
you're only
Zulfus
getting
power
2.
walking.
You're only getting
Yes.
2 because you left 1 round early. So 16 and a 17. The dice took a while to warm up, but 16 to 17 versus your AC.
Nope.
No, neither
Oh,
one.
isn't it a 2 and a 16?
Sorry, who?
Bickford.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
AC 15.
It should be a 2 and a 16 because you said 4 after me, right? Which was the 5, 11, 9, and 20, which means the 2. Oh, no,
Yeah.
never mind. That's damage. I'm
damage,
That
tired.
was damage. So yeah, a 16 and a 17. So they both hit.
Mhm.
So even though you were further away, they got lucky, and they're still firing around. Just ping, 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 and then
I'm a big
bam,
target.
one catches you in your bald ass. Oh, and then the other one
Oh.
catches you in your other bald ass. And you are, it's 8 points. That's maximum damage. That's got to at least knock you down with both of your cheeks on fire. Like it's like you sat on napalm. Except you
not
were
again.
running. It's a down you go with your ass. Until the end of this turn, your ass is still on fire. Idicus, one of them at disadvantage to you because you are, I mean, hidden doesn't really help, but you're out of sight and gone. Being hidden means to me you're probably behind cover. So I'm going to roll twice and we'll take the lowest one.
Okay.
6 or an 8. Neither one of those are going to be even remotely
With-
Yeah,
close.
doesn't hit.
So as you're it's like way above you in the trees, ding, ding, it's good not to be tall. And as you look back behind you, the remains of the fire just crumples. And the last little bit of
what about-
smoke comes out.
What about Beowulf?
I didn't do the 4 towards you, did I? Thank you
Nope.
for being honest. 6, 16, 8, and 14. What's your AC?
16 beats.
Okay.
The 14 meets.
All right, so that's 2. Oh, wow, look at me. I'm rolling maxes, but I'm only doing it on D4s. Yeah, Beowulf, you started arguing with Zolthus. They turn and run. You're like, oh, right. And as you turn, there's just an explosion behind you. You're kind of outlined in lights, like some Las Vegas light show. It's just miraculously out of all of that, only 2 of them hit you. But they drive into the fur on your, like through the holes that were burned in your jacket earlier, right into the flesh. And as you stumble forward, they continue to burn on your body for a couple of seconds. 8 points of damage. The fire behind you collapses. Kind of like a Jiffy popcorn when all the popcorn's gone.
I'm not asking to take any damage off of what I
Yeah.
did. I'm just the firing. Does that give me any bonus against fire damage itself?
No, I think it only did fire damage, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. Yeah.
Because I don't even have the stats for that. I have no
resistance
idea what it
to
is.
resistance to fire is a different thing now. It used to be you were right. If it made fire, it made you resistant to fire. But now those are 2 different things.
Sometimes it does both. It's one of those things. I just don't know.
So, with that, the 4 of you barrel headlong down into the valley, away from the exploding fire pit and towards the exploding dragon. After a couple 100 yards, you start to slow down a little bit. I assume you're not going to run all day. You see around you animals again, lush environments, these little streams, this huge river just off to your side now, off to your right, let's just say for now. You kind of slow down. What's the next plan? A number of you are injured again.
Beowulf is probably going to stop and drink some water. He's going to be thirsty after all
Yeah,
that.
so after all that fire, yeah.
Bickford's going to go around and start mending clothes.
Okay.
Specifically, I mean, Beowulf's got a couple of big friggin' holes in his jacket.
Yep.
Zulthus threw his jacket away. He's tired.
It's gone, yeah.
Or Bickford can't do anything about their ass. So. Just started to grow back.
It's not even noon on the first day. The fire is gone out behind you. What would you like to do?
Very loudly, I'm going to yell, I will set this entire place on fire if you don't stop messing with us for 5 goddamn minutes.
You start to hear a beeping. Beep, 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 beep. It's counting seconds.
Great, everyone, 5 minutes.
You have 300 seconds. Because you just invented time. Yeah. Heartbeats. Let's say heartbeats. Sure, that
Yeah.
works. What do? You have 300 seconds before the dragon's back in the game.
He's benevolent.
Bickford's just going to sort of come over to Edicus. He's like, "You okay, buddy?"
A little. Not hurt.
All right, good.
I imagine that you guys, the 3 of you, ran down the hill, and then when you stopped at the bottom, Edicus just sort of stepped out from behind a tree.
Just kind of pops out like,
Yep.
You and I are discussing your behavior later.
What do?
The face.
Hey, I know what you did as well, so don't even try to think otherwise. And just keeps walking and is swearing in so many languages that are so dead and so ancient. The only person that could possibly understand them is the ancient dragon that may have heard some of these before and going, those words, dude.
In mixed company, that's rude.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
sorry, and then even like gods themselves shudder at a few of those words, going, "What the hell is he saying?"
I started a religion to get rid of that word. So yes, Zulthis is clearly angry. So angry, in fact, it is. He's walking past under some of the trees. Some of the needles are actually turning brown and falling off.
I was thinking Orcus is writing notes. I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Yeah, my dad used to use that one. Imagine Orcus's father. That's a badass. Somebody that screwed up some perfectly good little devil until he turned into Orcus. Man, that's a messed up human. Had to be a human. Of course it was. So, Zulthis is storming about, angry at the world. Idicus. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go back to looking for shinies.
Beep, beep is going on in the background.
Unless anyone wants to talk to me about anything, I'm gonna go back for shinies.
Okay.
That talk about your behaviors until after we get out of danger, not before.
You've got weeks. Don't worry about it. Bickford, you see Idicus just start to turn and wobble off.
Hey, buddy, we should probably try to stick together this time. Bad things seem to happen.
Idicus, you see a red gem under a log. Great big red shiny gem under a log.
I'm picking it up and I'm chucking it as far as I can.
Bickford watches Idicus yeet a stone. He's like,
Yeah.
that's new.
So
Maybe he doesn't like red.
what you see is Idicus pick up a ruby that they can hardly hold. It's a fistful of ruby, and just hurl it over into in the direction of the river rocks. Do you want to break this one?
Yeah, I want to break it.
Okay. So yeah, there's a whole little rocky beach area, and you fire it in that direction. Go ahead and give us an attack roll, just to pretend we're playing a game. Oh yeah, 20, easy. And Bickford, the others see this, but Bickford, you specifically said you were watching, so you see this priceless ruby and shatter, and when it does, you hear at the other end of the valley.
As Beowulf hears this, he's like mid lap in the water.
Yep.
As he's lapping the water, he brings his head up, tongue still sticking out with water dripping down, and his ears just flatten against his head. He's like, whatever that was, don't
You
do
jackass.
it again.
You agreed 5 minutes.
Bickford slow pans towards the camera.
Meanwhile, in the background, you hear beep.
Guys, we gotta move.
Yeah. Someone pick up Idicus before they go off. Zulthis will quickly try to pick you up as well.
Damn it, wait already.
You're gone. Wow, 22. As you prepare to disappear into the forest, and as others prepare to chase or chastise or just whatever and walk away, as the case may be, you all see at the bottom of a sort of narrow passage down by the water, as you start to move in that new direction, and a large open area, like a field. A meadow would probably be a better word. And at the far end of it, there's a herd of bison. And they're starting to... And some of the bigger ones start to move forward and make a little wall.
Challenge.
I know what that means.
Are they going to stampede?
Either that or we're about to get our shit kicked.
Yeah. Okay. Zulfus, as quickly as possible, with his 50 movement speed,
Yeah.
will pick up Idicus before Idicus can run off. And hide in his stealth.
First, you got to beat Idicus's stealth of 22 to see if you saw them go.
Of 17. It went twice.
Yeah, it
Oh,
went
okay.
twice.
Okay, 17.
So what do I need to roll?
Your passive doesn't count. I just need a straight perception. 17. You see them heading out. You reach for them. Idicus, are you going to attempt to not be grappled?
Yes.
Okay, so from you, I need acrobatics or athletics, and from Zulthus, I need athletics. As you try and grab them.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
18. So you start to run and you just get lifted up.
Oh, it's not even. It's not lifted up because the cloak might fall off. It's swept up in the arm like this and just held like a
Football.
suitcase.
Okay.
Keep
Okay.
kicking.
Yeah, you got a chance
Yep,
to break
yep,
this
yep,
grapple
you're
every
still
single
kicking.
turn. Yeah. And what do? You have Idicus under your arm.
Oh, I take off.
Where?
In the opposite direction of those goddamn bison.
That's where you came from. So there's you.
Oh no,
this
then I'm
open
running
clearing with the
toward-
bison in the end of it, and then trees and a hill to this side, and to that side's the river.
Okay, I'm going to run past the bison essentially.
Okay, try and
by-
get around them. Yeah.
Use oh no, not by going around them, by going over them. By using Step of the Wind. By spending 1 key point.
Jump
Oh
distance is
no, the
doubled.
jump distance is doubled.
Okay, so that way you could jump all the way into the middle of the herd.
I'm going to jump on top of one of them. I don't care.
You could try. I mean, that is an acrobatics thing for sure. You were going to try and use your acrobatics skill
Nope.
to. No? Oh, okay. You already tried. Excellent. Your plan was to just like run the backs of the bulls, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how that's going to play out in a second. We've already made that roll. Idicus. Actually, let's do
if-
this in this order. Yes, you take off running.
Immediately,
Yeah.
immediately, as soon as that realizes it's not going to work, picked up Idicus to hold above the herd,
Okay. Yep.
essentially Lion Kinging it.
Yeah, that's the image I was seeing too, for sure. But I know the rest of this scene now, and you did this to yourself. You
Oh no.
miss the jump when you leap up onto that first bison. It catches your ankle with a horn on the way by, and you start to fall. There is a small space, and you land 1 foot on it, and in a last moment, you kind of hoink straight up and hold Idicus above you. They hit. It's literally a stampede of buffalo/bison, depending on what you call them.
They're bison. Buffalo and bison are 2 different animals.
These are bison.
Yeah, actually,
I know you have. This is a dexterity save, so you can use the your ability.
Evasion.
Yeah, you can use evasion. So I need a dex save.
20. Is that
For
a
the
is that a success?
That is
Oh, then I am.
for the
And I-
first round.
Okay. Can I?
You-
Can I slightly explain the evasion-looking thing?
Mm-hmm.
Just for a moment, everything but the arm that's holding it up kind of turns into a black mist of snake.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, and they go right through.
And then they just run through,
Yep.
only to reappear for the next round.
Absolutely. And you keep sort of bouncing back and forth between solid and gas as you can. For the first round, it works. Bickford and Beowulf grabs Idicus. All you can see is an arm sticking out with Idicus on the end of it. Idicus, we're going to get to you last in this round, but Bickford, what do? You are still facing a charge of bison as well. If you do nothing, they'll be here.
So he's thinking, he's never seen a bison before, but he knows that they're kind of like mean cows.
Yep, big mean cows.
Yeah. And when big
Possibly
mean cows
explosive big mean cows.
Yeah, and when big mean cows stampede, they tend to take the stick with the terrain. So he's going to try and get on the opposite side of the river as the bison.
Yep. Even just hurling yourself into the river, they're very unlikely to stampede into the river. So that's a good idea. Give me a athletics or acrobatics, depending on whether you're going to like power run your way there or sort of parkour it.
Try to be as dexy as I can.
22. Yeah, you have no problem at all. You just fling, and you're flying through the air about to land in the river. Beowulf.
It'll make my butt feel better.
You just see this hand sticking out of the thing coming directly at you.
I'm actually going to flavor this a little bit.
Yes, please.
Beowulf, as soon as he sees the bison, he gets somewhat of a tunnel vision,
Yep.
and his hunger kind of takes over a little bit.
Yep.
He runs straight towards one of the bison to try and attack and kill it to eat it because he's still hungry.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I need you to give me an attack roll. 13. It's a wall of bison. You've basically, it was like which one you hit. You kind of hit one on the way by and it almost knocks you off of your feet. You bite into it, you do hit. Give me some damage. 4 points. Yeah, it's not a great strike, but it is enough to break the flesh. You smell a very familiar smell. Burning fur. And the bison in front of you is starting to smoke. Here's hoping that blowing up this bison doesn't do any damage to the hundreds of other bison in this herd. Who
And
would
it's a
all then
chain
explode
reaction.
at the same time. Idicus. You look down and you're watching Zultus just flickering in and out of existence as these giant furry beasts run right through him. Every time he does, you kind of drop a little bit and come back up and come back up and come back up. You see Bickford and Beowulf try the things that they're doing. And you see now that up at the front edge, it's still a ways away from you, but you see that one bison about to explode. What do you do?
If I hit it with my bow, will it still explode?
You don't know?
Okay, then I'm gonna take a shot.
Okay. A 12.
We can blame this on the jumpy up and down of the.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not a great shot, but what happens is, now this allows me to tell a story. I like this. Your arrow, you aimed for the broad side of the animal where you would normally do, but yeah, your hand is the hand you're sitting on is knocked a little bit, and you shoot. It hits it in the leg, and causes it to kind of veer out of the group. Beowulf sort of lets go and takes half a step back. This thing stumbles off a couple of steps into a small ravine, and when it hits the bottom of the ravine, it explodes. The fire goes straight up, along with a bunch of steam from this little creek that was in there. So now the whole pack isn't going to explode again. Second round. Oh, Zulthus!
Dexterity save?
Yes, please.
I don't have advantage. I wish I did.
No, you do not. You time it wrong once. And you and a bison share space for the briefest of moments. You don't get hit by it. You materialize when it's halfway through you. And there's sort of a tearing sensation as part of you goes with it as it goes out in front of you.
Yeah.
This is enough to knock you down. And you see hooves coming at you. And you start to
Okay.
roll out of the way. You, at the last second, you threw Idicus, but you can't see anything. What do you do at that specific moment?
That specific moment.
Knowing that it could be your last. Even Zulthus might not. Well, you'd be forced to take another body at the very least.
He doesn't have another body. This is it.
Well, then this is it.
Oh, yeah. He's going to actually weirdly attack the ground, causing as much necrotic damage to it as he can, to cause a
Okay.
sinkhole, to make as many of these guys fall in with him as possible.
You try and take them with you, causing a collapse in the center of this thing, causing this whole stampede to fall in on itself. Okay. On top of you. Bickford. You see Iticus fly into the air.
He is going to try and make it over to. I'm in the fucking water.
Yes, you are. You're swimming in the river.
But luckily, I have a bunch of spells to help me do something about that. I'm going to cast Misty Step.
Okay.
And then use my action, or Misty Step back onto the shore, and then use my action to get towards Iticus and try and catch him.
Okay. They are still flying through the air above the herd that is now collapsing into a sinkhole.
Yeah, I'm doing the stupid thing and going back towards the exploding.
Absolutely. Beowulf, what are you doing?
Cursing a lot.
There's a
Because
whole
now
lot.
he's a little bit pissed. He probably in his blindness, not necessarily blindness, but again, someone has somewhat tunnel vision, so he really doesn't see the flying Iticus. But he sees the direction that the bison is coming from.
Yep.
He's gonna try and play hopscotch across the bison.
So you're going to try and, give me an acrobatics check as you try and do what your monk failed to do. 14. You manage to stay on the backs. You jump up and sort of run from back to back to back, but that is all you've got. You do not have any extra space-time and processing power to try and get to Iticus. You're just in survival mode on top of these.
Oh no, he's not heading for Iticus. He's just trying to get out of the herd.
Okay, so just trying to get past. Okay, so yeah, you are struggling to stay on top of them, but you do manage to do so, at least for this round.
Mm-hmm.
Iticus, flying through the air.
Oh god. Do I know that Zolthus is like somewhere underneath?
Yep. He threw you up in the air. You were looking right down at him when it happened.
I don't know if I can do this. But I'm taking one of my arrows, I'm tying a rope to it, and I'm firing at Zolthus.
Give me an attack roll with advantage. Oh. Because, you get advantage because as you draw back, your fingers just touch the locket. And then bam. So it's a 26 instead of an 11. As it's flying down, you feel the presence from the locket. The arrow starts to bend as it gets closer. And like they used to do stitches with the big curvy needle, it goes in behind, it comes back out, and does this impossible wrap around Zolthus's waist. Because you believe, Iticus. You hear in your head. You are still flying through the air, but you are now attached to Zolthus. What do you do?
I know I'm not very strong, but I'm just gonna yank it as hard as I can.
From in the air. Okay,
Yeah, it's essentially I'm trying to just pull him with me. 'Cause
Okay.
Normally it's a weight thing. I'm just going to say that Zulthus weighs less than Iticus.
Oh,
for
that's
this
not
purposes.
even the thing. I just needed a second to get this right. You pull, and physics, right? You're hanging in the air. All you do is pull yourself down towards Zulthus.
Right.
But, Iticus, an arm, a warm human arm, wraps around you from behind, and then another one. And you look down and
You
you
got
see
this,
us,
kid.
and two more arms, female arms. One than the other over Alan's hands. And you pull again, and this time they pull with you. What the two of you who aren't, well, Beowulf, you're too busy. You're running. Bickford, you're sort of on the edge of this. You would notice this. It's like watching somebody fishing from underwater. Like Idicus is the bobber, and you see them get pulled down and then pulled back up, and when they come back up, Zulthus' form is hanging from this rope. It's impossible. Idicus can't fly, and you cannot see the arms around Idicus. The herd passes by Bickford and passes by Beowulf as you drop down off the... Give me one more acrobatics check off the back of this pack, Beowulf. .23. Yeah, your dismount's much better than your mount. You get the timing right, and then off the back of the last one, you just boom, boom, back down on the ground. You look around. Bickford, you kind of come back right from the water's edge. They blow by you and down this valley or down this meadow. And you see Idicus floating in the air.
Kind of more in disbelief. He's still going to try and like come down and catch him, but he's kind of like, it starts off with a charge, but sort of ends up in a very slow, confused walk.
Yep.
As he sees Idicus hanging in the air. You okay up there, buddy?
One of
And
the
like-
hands just comes off a little bit. We're good.
And with
An
a
echo heard
like
through the
like a
valley.
rescue helicopter,
I don't know if that works.
Zulthus is put down at the end of this rope. You can see Idicus kind of lowers like a helicopter, and the slat comes out of the line, and it unwraps itself and pulls back up to Idicus, who then continues to float down. And it looks for all the world like somebody holding a child, with their little feet hanging out, and they just put Idicus back on the ground. There's a presence. I'll give you insight checks. Why not? Bickford and Beowulf. I'm not giving Zulthus one because you don't need one. You know who's here. You know who saved your life. Yeah, Beowulf, you missed it. Yeah, you got a bunch of bison hair in one eye, and you're still really, really hungry.
He still has that tunnel vision, and basically right now he's just running around in a circle, cursing in giant and
Trying to find
infernal.
something to eat that doesn't blow up. Bickford, you have an idea who might be helping Idicus. You have an idea who might have just put them down. You wouldn't have any idea about the wife, that Alan's wife is now traveling with him, but you would have at least an idea. You know that they had the locket. You've seen that.
You're making friends on both sides of the grave, huh, buddy? Never mind. Just
And
making friends on both sides of the grave.
Idicus, two hands pat you on the head at the same time. Alan's and his wife's, like through each other. It's a ghost thing. They can do that.
Yeah.
None of us are dead. But don't tell them. Especially don't tell. And you see them look over at Zulthus.
I keep promise. I keep safe.
And we'll do the same for you. And they start to fade.
You're all an ex machina right there. Sorry. Just before that happens.
Zulthus, yes, you know who's here. You know it's Alan. You do not see his wife. Actually, let's do this. Give me a perception check.
Can I?
Yeah.
This is me taking over the scene, but can I a bit
Yeah,
between an Alan and?
I'll stop you if I don't like it.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as Alan and his wife are about to leave. Wait up for a moment.
I'm going to do what I was going to do first then, because I want to know if you see that his wife is there. So give me an insight check. And I'm giving them a 21 as an attempt to hide the wife.
Insight?
Yep.
Why is it so hard for me to find that? 15,
15, no.
27.
You only see Alan.
I really want you to stop saving my life, but I don't want you to stop saving theirs.
Then
Well, that's kind of what I do here.
hmm Yeah, stop throwing yours away. Would be my answer to that.
You've got work to do. You, who never really got to life, versus me, who's got too much of it. Why help me? Why help me twice? Because I think deep down we both know you're worth it. I don't think you know that yet. And this is only between Alan and
Yep.
Zulfus. You might hear Zulfus's comments on it, but
I'm gonna give just because I want this moment to include them. Idicus is in on this. That's
Okay.
gonna be my addition. Idicus can hear this.
all right.
Bigford and Beowulf are looking for something that doesn't blow up.
Nobody's tried any vegetation yet.
Berries is next.
Yeah. Beowulf was about to start looking for mushrooms.
The vegan wolf starts to go hunting for mushrooms. But Idicus, yeah, you heard that conversation.
Not doing a good job with keeping them safe. Well, they don't always make it easy, do they?
And he starts to fade. Idicus, you can see him and his wife, whose name slips my mind.
I never gave her a name. We're just gonna
Okay.
call her Josephine.
Josephine. Works for me. You see the two of them.
I keep promise. I keep safe.
And there's just a nod. And the presence fades.
I hope you and your lady are staying happy together. I'll see you around, Alan.
They fade away. Idicus, you can feel the two of them in here now. And I don't know if you open the locket right now, but if you don't have to, because you know now when you pop it open, there's not one image in there done in that amazing tiny fragments of gemstone. There's two.
Cool.
And with that,
I'm sorry.
because I have a special announcement to the vanished Alan, and he doesn't hear it. What was the line, Zultus?
No, it wasn't even to Alan. It was just
What?
turns to Idicus very. I'm sorry, Idicus. I'm sorry.
Friends help friends.
That's what I was doing too. And he just kind of walks away for a few minutes.
You walk away, you stumble, almost fall down. For the purposes of this, because you essentially were saved from death, I want you at 1 hit point when we start next week. But
That means I lose 72.
yeah, well, I got to make you guys sweat somehow.
You
And apparently, in a valley full of dragons, I haven't made you sweat yet. With that, there's another reason why I want to stop now. It's not really early. It's about when we normally stop. But I have an announcement to make that I forgot to make at the start of the show. For the next several weeks, we are going to be having a guest appearance on the show, a guest star, if you will. It's somebody that 4 of us know. And so it's going to be a joy to bring them into this. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. I'm not going to tell you anything about their characters, other than they're going to show up next week with a side quest, because these guys have been on a mission for a very long time, and they need a side quest. So we're going to see these 4 fine, wonderful people and our special guest next week. Same giant time, same giant channel. That is 30% different. They can't sue me. Besides which, it's damn near 100 years old, I just realized. Oh, God. Never mind.
Yeah, but Happy
70,
Birthday was only
75?
recent.
Yeah.
Happy Birthday was only recent, like a couple of years ago, was put back into the public domain.
Yes.
I don't know how old it
But-
needs to be.
It is time for the thank yous. Yeah, it's 100 years if nothing else, and I think it's been like 75 since almost 75 since the Batman shows. Anyway, that's besides the point. I need to do some thank yous. Tonight went interestingly well, and it went interestingly well because everybody did at least one thing I didn't expect. So huge thank yous all the way around the table. Thank you, Scarred Adventurer. I appreciate every time. You always do something with Zulthis that gets me, that surprises me. Sarah Iticus, looking for shinies in the middle of the deadliest place in the world, is so on point, and it gave me this wonderful way for you guys to just continue to piss off this dragon. It's a red dragon. You have it to the point where it can hardly speak, and it hasn't even met you yet. It hasn't even had a discussion about the boat yet. So this is going to be a very, very, well, it's not all you, but you certainly poked at the dragon, so to speak. But thank you so much for bringing us Iticus. I appreciate it every single week. And cheers all over the place coming from everywhere, and tweets and foots and all kinds of stuff, and rotating hearts and all the good stuff. All the love flowing in. Bickford, burned your ass again. You are never going to have hair on that thing ever again for the whole rest of this
I
campaign.
am a baboon. I've gotten
Oh, yeah, now it's all burned and red. Oh, it's getting worse. But I couldn't help but throw your namesake in there. As soon as there was large ungulates about, you had to know bison were coming. So thank you so much for playing Bigfoot. Thank you for playing the character up scene or the level up scene tonight. I really like doing those, and that felt really natural. It felt like it made sense.
was a
So
lot of
thank
fun.
you for that. And Solar Dasher, Beowulf. I can hear the belly rumblings of this wolf. I keep thinking wolves can eat 25% of their own body weight in one sitting. And Beowulf has got 0% and 2 explosions is his record so far in this valley. So, yeah, I'm afraid as we kind of hinted at tonight, and I'm sure you'll figure it out next week, Beowulf's going to be eating berries, I'm afraid. Yeah, anything that's alive in this valley is explosive. So that should make it fun. Does that apply to the dragon? I don't know. Tune in next week to find out. What? Somebody say something. Somebody took over my body there for a moment. With that, 2 thank yous left. All the people in chat, full all night, as always, zooming by. I check it from time to time. If I see something funny, I comment. I gave them your hints tonight. You guys had some good hints. I gave them some of those, so thank you so much for tuning in and watching. We will see you next week. And to the people watching on YouTube, you watched all the way to here, please hit the like button, because you must have, if you watched this far, or just type into the bottom and tell me what you think. With that, including the 5 big hearts. I had the 5 swirly hearts I look forward to every single week. But speaking of which, they're in chat now. Thank you to everybody that I didn't think of. I hope we gave you a couple of hours away from the world. I, for one, needed it this week, so thank you all so much for joining me in that and making this death-defying, funny, fun, dramatic, all the best things. And I saw smiles all night, so I know we all had fun. So with that, until next time, please continue to be nice to each other. Good night.
Slava Ukraini!
Yeah.